I felt like I won a war of attrition because
Pretty
I was like
much.
master when the leaderboard came out.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but that kind of lit a fire in me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna climb. Watching my like rank go up after every win, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then I ended up getting GM after that, and then I think I fell out like a day later. Um,
Still,
and I've
well
been
done.
trying to. Yeah, thank you. So and then it's just been from there. It's just been like a lot of games. Because I've been like wanting to get back in there. Um, Probably too many, if I'm honest. But it's like lots of streaks. I'm really glad that the card system is going away because I see that like 4 and 4, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can just get one more, and then I lose like 3 more, and then I'm like, man. And yesterday I want to say it was like I had a 5-0, and then a 5-2, and then 5-13, and
Oh,
now I'm like chilling around Masters too. So it's like it's just a lot of crazy stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I'm glad to hear overall things have been going well. I think the
Yeah,
key to finding success in anything is to find the thing that you enjoy doing that other people don't enjoy doing.
yeah,
Whether that's and whether that's tank or whatever else. And so you're cruising while everyone else is struggling. And I'm kind of with you on that one. I remember there was a point in time in my ranked career when I was playing tank pretty seriously, and this was before roll lock, and so inevitably there was always that certain percentage of games where you get a solo Zenyatta healing or you get Zen Mercy as a Reinhardt player, right? So,
hmm
um,
hmm
and while my counterpart was complaining about the lack of healing resources, I was like min maxing, like how little healing could I demand? How efficiently could I play in my 4 DPS games? As a Winston player, right? And I
right.
actually started to enjoy that, right? Like it kind of made it a personal challenge, and obviously things aren't quite that bad right now, so it's kind of probably I'm sure a fun challenge.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's take a look. Obviously, it's not your first time, not your first rodeo, so we don't have to grind through your form. I guess let's put it this way: do you have any questions from your form or anything you want to go over?
Um. No, not really. I mean, I say I play D.Va and Sigma mostly, but I've been throwing a little more Zarya in there. So there's a game I have with that. We could maybe look at that.
Okay,
Other than that, that's kind of about it.
sure. Okay, well then, no, if no questions, nothing about training or whatever, then we can get right into gameplay if you like.
No.
All right, let's it's situated here. Let me get my internet thing sorted. So I have like a cloud backup thing that I got to slow down on in the background. Otherwise, my bit rate will be non-existent. Okay.
Gotcha.
Do you want to start with the first code, second code, third code?
Can we start with the third code just because it's
Mm-hmm.
quicker?
Yep.
It's a win, so it's not like
Perfect.
I don't think there's going to be a lot to look at. But I don't play a lot of Sigma on the other codes, so I just figured could look at that one.
Yeah.
And I think we really only need to look at the first point because I think I go D.Va the next fight.
Yeah. Okay. I like the Sigma choice for this. Definitely going to feel probably a little better than D.Va here
Yeah,
in this current meta, especially.
I figured it wouldn't be great either way, but
I mean, Sigma's okay.
Like a brawl map.
Sigma's okay.
Yeah.
Like I would say, Sigma's great until you run into a brawl tank on this map. Then it's not so good.
Right. Yeah, they play JQ the whole time, I think.
Okay, so two things really fast here. I think the shift is probably fine. You're egoing the damage orb. You're thinking surely there's going to be some spam in there. But then you lose the HP that you lost in the space you could have taken with that shift because you want to throw a rock. The rock hits nothing. There was nothing even on your screen to hit, and so now you've wasted your potential HP gain, and you've also wasted a cooldown. And so your ability to actually hold the space now, especially without the extra HP and the rock versus the queen, which goes without saying, is really important. Yeah. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah. I do it again later. I think my thinking there was just like, okay, I know it's kind of a waste of a cooldown. So like as soon as if I can reset the timer quicker, then like I'll have it up faster, like if I need it. But I don't know.
I think the shift is okay maybe because you're like damage orb. There's definitely some spam coming in. Get like 150 HP, sure. And really, the other thing too is it allows you to go from here to here without taking any damage.
Okay.
And that's important for not only your healing, but more importantly for your shield HP management, right? So if you're able to go from point A to point B without having to use any shield, that's really, really nice, right?
Right.
So then you could get to the corner here and you have full shield. But then you canceled that with the rock. And that was, the rock was really the egregious part.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I think also, if we're talking about micro, which we're going to be talking a lot about micro with Sigma, this is fine. Clear the angle. And then this shield needs to immediately drop at this point in time. Unless you're purposefully like playing around knife. And then even there, right, you've seen the knife, the shield must drop. Drop. You cannot be sloppy with the shield use because the cover that you're in right now until the soldier peaks is your shield.
Right.
So the key thing with Sigma shield is people talk about like blocking cooldowns versus blocking damage. And like everyone knows that block cooldowns with Sigma shield, duh. But the key thing that the simplest way of thinking about it is that you want to be never let your shield be redundant. That's the way to make it look at it. Never let your shield be something that is there, but you don't really need. Every time you use shield, it should be a need, not a, oh, that would be nice. Because right now, like, there's no point using your shield right now. You're giving them something. And the reason why that's a problem is because you're giving them something to shoot when sometimes there will be nothing for them to shoot, if that makes sense, right? Right. So you want to make them peek you to do something to you. But right now, you're giving them a free versus and you let it break, which obviously puts it on cooldown. Yeah, like even that rock there, is it useful? Yes. Is it worth the 10-second cooldown? No. You tell me why.
Well, it hit the queen. I think I don't even think I was aiming for her though. I was aiming for the soldier.
So whatever. Let's say you aim for the queen. It's still a bad rock. Why?
My team can't really follow up on it.
Does it need to be something your team can follow up off of for it to be a good rock though?
Oh no, but her HP is full, so I'm not gonna get the kill there.
Does a rock need to get a kill for it to be a good rock, or have a chance to get a kill?
But she's not really doing anything, so
that's it right there. That's it right there.
Okay.
You're not doing anything to her. She's not doing anything to you. So don't use the rock because the thing is, it's like you're gonna hit this rock and she's just gonna
get right back up,
walk behind a corner, and she's fine. If you were walking in and rocked her here, that's when she's scary. That's when you're scary. That's when the rock is useful.
Okay.
If she's pushing you, that's when the rock is useful. If the soldier's peeking here and you hit the rock right here, and then you get a chance at maybe getting a one shot or sure. This rock, she's just not really doing anything. And the reason why that's bad is because the chance of getting real pressure with that rock are kind of low. It's the same reason why you wouldn't want to on a nade from spawn if you're not going to have it by the time the fight starts, because you're not really going to get a kill off of that. So what's the point, right? You might get a little bit of ult charge, but if you don't get it back in time, and you will not get it back in time, then that's a real expense. So if anything here, if you're like, oh, we're up one, I have CDs here. If anything, you should just be walking forward a little bit so that you get your CDs forced. You kind of see what I'm saying? If you have your CDs and you have an advantage, walk to the point to where you either have an angle to use them aggressively or they have to push you, in which case, of course, you're going to use your CDs aggressively. Nice target priority here. Like right here, you could be walking forward and rocking, but you don't have your rock just yet, so it's a little scary, Walk. Nice. Your CDs are your advantages, you know? So, like, they are what allow you to do more aggressive things.
Right.
Okay. Would you use rock here? Like, let me give you a sight line, like, right? Like, would you try to rock this Kiriko? You see this Kiriko?
No, definitely not. I
Like,
wouldn't hit that.
Right. So even what if you did hit it? Would it be worth it?
No. Queen, maybe, though.
Why?
Because she's in.
Yeah. There's a chance of follow up here. And the thing is even if you don't get the kill here, you know that if you hit this rock, you're gonna force so many cooldowns. Many cooldowns, right? Because like she's aggressing here. So now on that note, let's watch your shield. Look for redundant shield. That's what we're looking for. You see it?
Yeah.
Nobody's using the shield. But you're giving this Kiriko, this Moira, something to shoot for free.
Okay.
You're draining a resource while getting nothing out of it. It's literally like burning money is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to swing and peek, I might not love this because it's not playing around your team's LOS, but at least that makes sense. That would be the equivalent of like buying a bunch of junk food with your money, right? It's not a good investment, but it's at least it makes sense. This makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Now, at least you didn't break it, so that's good. Same thing with the shield there, because like you also have to understand that redundant damage isn't just damage. Period. In other words, are you scared of this Junker Queen's damage? Like this, where you're at right now?
No.
No, you're not. You might be scared of her knife, in which case you need to be watching her body language very carefully. You might be scared of the Junkrat turning the corner and maybe going for a 2-tap combo and you maybe taking 300 of your HP out, in which case you need to be very attentive to that corner. But you're 650 HP. I'm not willing to spend my limited shield resource on this Junker Queen's like little tippity-tappity shotgun right now.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not like, oh, it's not going to be useful to block. Of course it's going to be useful to block, but is it worth the expense? Because you only have so much money.
Yeah.
And so now you don't have shield. So if, like, let's say for whatever reason they had pushed out there with an ultimate or TP'd or whatever, you don't have shield for Junkrat spam. You don't have shield for Junkrat knife or Junker Queen knife. You don't have shield for Symmetra. You have nothing. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like here, now you're peeking.
Shield would be good here.
But your shield broke. Right, your shield broke. So then now you just now got your shield. You shield too late. And then now you've lost a lot of HP and your shield's broken again. And so there's lamp and there's shift. And you see that. It was because you used shield when you didn't need it. You didn't have it when you did.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's
Yeah,
always opportunity cost. You know, there's not infinite shields, so you have to choose. I don't mind that rock because even though you're not targeting it at the queen, it's still indirect value for the queen because look, if you rock the squishies or threaten the rock on the squishies, what can they not do?
They can't go in with queen?
They can't go in with queen. So then queen takes more damage and gets less healing. In fact, let's watch what this rock actually does. I think it actually does something.
It hits the turret, is what it does. Like Symmetra shooting at a turret.
Look at.
Oh, but they'll back up. Oh.
Wait. You see this? So here comes the rock. No, you just use the rock. But yeah, the Moira, I think, sees it. Yeah. See, it comes. The Moira disengages, and the Symmetra Junkrat back up a little bit too. But most of the Moira. Okay. So it's like it gets really unfortunate. You know, it hits the turret, which I've never seen that before. But seems reasonable. The logic of it was good. Nice. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say, right? Flux was fine. You hit who you needed to, post CDs. Only thing I will say here is, again, you seem to be forgetting something.
My shield's up.
At this point, I actually think using a little bit of shield here would be fine, right? Just to make sure that you could do this, but you've literally forgotten about it.
Yeah. I take one for the team here.
I mean, obviously, there's ways of playing that with shield. I would have preferred you to actually play this one correctly, but the idea was good. In other words, peek this with shield and go for the shot combo, and you might be able to block it.
Okay.
Because you can one-shot combo it with shooting and punching. But yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate. Okay, and that's...
Oh yeah, then it goes over here.
Okay, so that's what you wanted from this review, right? The Sigma section?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So what are some details with Sigma then? A couple of things, right?
Don't forget about my shield.
Don't forget about shield. Have a purpose with when or using it. Limited resource. Key thing is no redundant shield.
Right.
Don't shield when just natural cover or a little bit of healing will do the job, right? Okay. What else?
And then I guess in a similar vein, like using rock for nothing. Not good.
Don't just rock. Don't just use the cooldown, right? Have a purpose for it. Okay.
Yeah.
That was mostly it. I think that was really it. I think actually.
Okay.
Okay. Next code.
Let's do the first one. Yeah, let's do the first one. we can, I guess, skip the sections where I'm playing Sigma.
Okay. You want us D.Va, Zarya, Ryan? You said you play a little Ryan here too.
Yeah, let's check the D.Va.
Check the D.Va. Okay.
Yeah.
Saw a little bit of D.Va there, but I think mostly D.Va.
I think it was. Yeah, it was mostly just on the.
I saw a little bit like 230.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit here. There's a little bit here. We can take a look.
Oh.
Okay, so why did you go D.Va? I mean, I feel like the answer should be obvious, but.
Junkrat, Pharah. Well, mostly the Pharah.
Okay.
And because the Zarya doesn't have like the ability to get to me.
Yep. Smart. It's a good point for D.Va. Really good point. Anything you've been working on with D.Va recently, or any questions?
I have been working on like kind of using my ability to be really aggressive, and also like really just working on like playing her into unfavorable situations. Like I couldn't find it, but there was a game where they went like Zarya, Mei, Symmetra, like everything bad, and I couldn't find a way to crack it. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
What map was it on?
I think it was King's Row. So
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because the advantage that you have over those compositions is hyper mobility. So you could play, like, say, like a fat tracer. You could take literally any off angle that you want and just permanently dive or pressure backline.
Right.
That map is those angles are not as quite as good in that map. I think third point's pretty good for D.Va. First point would also be pretty good, but the second point would be misery. To be honest with you, just basically short tunnels. So yeah, anything that counters you by countering where you are. In other words, like, you know, a Bastion versus a Winston, a Reaper versus a Winston, a Mei versus a D.Va. You just go around them and capitalize off of that. But if the map doesn't really have a lot of benefit for you going around them, then you're gonna have a hard time. Like, I always struggle with Winston on Route 66 third point attack, right? Because I can play all day around counters in second point and even a little bit at first point. But as soon as I'm running into a Reaper Bastion on third point, there's nowhere I can go to avoid them, right? So,
right. Another thing, another thing I have been working on, but I watched a coaching video you did a couple months ago, was like going into the Doomfist matchup. Because I've been playing a lot of
D.Va?
really good. Yeah. I've been going into a lot of really good Doomfists, and one thing that I gleaned from your other video you did was just to like force the objective as much as possible, and then it's harder for them to do anything. So that's been working.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
With D.Va specifically forcing the objective.
Yeah. Okay. Like if it's like escort here, like I just drop.
Yeah.
Matrix, fly away.
You got chunked there. What hit you? I guess that's actually a crazy shot.
Oh, it's a right click. Oh wow.
Yeah, that far actually hit you, and the Zarya hit you. I mean, this is really all you have to do, right? Just manage your boosters, keep pressuring, and the big thing is don't lose track of them. Okay, so
take too long.
Yeah. This is a Sombra fundamental, which I have gotten, why do you say so, pretty good at. You have already done your job. I see Bubble. I see Nade. She is going to get peeled. It's over. You don't have the burst damage to be able to secure this at this point in time. Your Sombra has also disengaged, right? She knows she's done her job. You've done your job. You've created an opportunity where your soldier or Zenyatta or Ana even could have gotten a pick, and you forced a lot of CDs and done so very cheaply, right? It's taken almost nothing. You didn't even have to use a cooldown besides micro missiles here, and then booster right back. So as soon as I see this bubble here, I am out. I'm out. You need to get out.
My disengage is bad too. I tried to go high ground, but I should have just gone into the mega.
Right. I think the high ground was reasonable if you had the HP for it, but you didn't. And I think you also lost track of where your supports are playing. Your Ana's over here. So it should have been a disengage towards this high ground here, but you kind of lost track. So yeah, you just way overstay your welcome. The play is fine. Just way overstayed your welcome. Yeah. And now you're dead.
And that's what I found. Like the higher I climb, the less time I have to go in there. Because like in maybe like a little bit lower elo, like Masters 5, Masters 4, I stay there and I probably get a couple kills, but it doesn't happen. So like the bad habits just kind of set in there.
No. one other tiny little detail to keep in mind. Because you think about, like, am I not creating space? Am I not forcing distractions? Even if I do die? The answer is yes, but who's engaged right now?
Nobody.
Just you and the Sombra, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying this is bad. This is totally fine to go for. It's a low risk play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can obviously see here, and not even your soldier has a good angle here. Nobody. Your Ana, your Zen, soldier, nobody's capitalizing off of what you and your Sombra are doing. You and your Sombra are just risking it because you see an opportunity to get a kill, and then you're going to go back again. So that needs to influence how you play this. Because you know, oh, if I stay in here and everybody focuses me, my team will win the fight, right? Well, no, because they don't have an angle on you. So it's pointless. So what I would do is, again, revisit the fundamentals. So where are we taking this fight? And then know when your time's up, right? Because if you're going all in as D.Va, you need to play a different tank.
Right.
Because the entire point of D.Va is that you can disengage. Go in, just get out. Go in, go out. Go in, go out. And do that multiple times. Personally here, I think I go high ground. Again, I think I go high ground. I think I lead the charge to go high ground. I think even seeing where your supports are playing, I think I still prioritize high ground. I think I go here, I try to clear this Junkrat, try to force a distraction, maybe get healing here, right? Okay. I think the high ground is just too valuable for you. It's your get out of jail free card. It's also the position where they can come from. Now,
yeah.
I assume you're thinking about helping your squishies here.
Yeah, I'm super concerned about this guy. Yeah.
then you know the strategy here, right? Strategy is to make them look this way.
Yeah,
that's how you help this guy, right? And the reason why I would prioritize that over peeling is because this area of the map is better for you, so you need to play selfishly.
Okay.
Now, if your guy was up here, okay, let's say your Zenyatta's pushing up top here, then I would encourage you to follow him. Why?
Right. Because he's going to get blown up.
Right, but it's the same logic here, but why don't I want you here with him?
Because it's a better position for me.
Right, so whenever you're playing D.Va, you need to factor in who can I help and what's better for me. Kind of get what I'm saying? And right now, the answer to both of those is this side of the map. You could distract. If this is like a tracer flanking over here, then maybe I'd go help this guy, right? But you know that I can pull this Mercy's attention, this Junkrat's attention, the Pharah's attention this direction by being here. And it's just objectively a better area of the map for me. So I'm going to play over here.
Right.
Does that make sense? So it's like with D.Va, it's like you always have to kind of balance that selfish versus selfless kind of mindset. And preferably find ways to line them up, if that makes sense. I mean, there's just not a whole lot to learn here. Like, you guys have been staggered pretty badly. It's not your fault. It's GG's. Okay. Let's skip ahead to D.Va here. It was here-ish, I think. Second point, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. Third point. I see why. To be honest with you, it's the wrong swap.
Really?
It's the wrong swap. Yep, definitely the wrong swap. What swap's better? Think for a little bit. So what's the strength of their comp?
Hook and Bastion.
Yep. So how do you deal with it?
Sigma, maybe?
Yeah, Sigma, 100%. Why is Sigma better than D.Va? Because you're like, D.Va would do, in theory, very good versus this too, but I don't like D.Va because...
It's a lot of out in the open.
Right. It's the map is what it is.
Yeah.
The comp is fine for D.Va or Sigma. So what you do is you pick the one that makes better sense for the map.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, if we look at where the cart is, I'm not getting back there as Sigma, right? I mean, maybe my team clutches this up, but like I don't.
I mean, to be honest with you, you're not getting here as D.Va either.
You make a good point.
So
although my Mercy does clutch it, so.
So it's like.
Oh wait, I forgot. Sorry, I have wrong color.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah,
okay.
no, you're good.
Yeah.
I've done that in a review before too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, my point was like, why go? You're not going to get here either way, so you might as well display the better here character. So yeah. But that being said, there's still that little high ground on the from behind, and you can still play like games up here and up here and up here.
Yep.
So there's enough to make it work. I just think it's difficult. Now. This is what I would call redundant matrix. Just like shield, right?
Yeah.
You tell me why.
I'm not taking any damage really for it.
Is anybody taking any damage?
No.
Yeah, you have to trust your team here. You have to trust your team. You know this is a bad turret form. You know it's a bad turret form. Yeah. So you have to trust that your team's not going to peek this. And sure enough, they're chilling. And meanwhile, you're using all of your resource and getting melted for no reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of goes back again to like a little bit of the peripheral awareness, right? Like, where's my team? Not leveraging that mobility curse. We always go back to the basics. We always go back to the basics. You do so much better at those basics, but then we always have to go back. Now, I was going to say, we're going to talk about like, how does this engage going to look? This is the engage.
Yep. So I'm making them look at me.
And then here, I think you need to, and this is why D.Va's hard. Okay, is this isn't good. You've zoned backline, but this is good only if it's your only option. It's not. There's another option. You need to think not one step ahead by taking this high ground. You're like plat gold level with this, right?
Okay.
But you need to think 2 steps ahead. What's the next step of engagement?
Maybe go around, like behind them.
You could absolutely wrap around behind. You could also just fly directly up to here.
Okay.
And you notice that we're 1 step closer to reaching that backline safely. Do you understand? So it's all about closing the distance from an angle, but you might not be able to get there on your first set of CDs. You might take another set of CDs. That's what we used to call a soft dive, where it's like the reason why soft dives exist is because you can't get to who you want to get to. So you have to use a mobility cooldown, stabilize, use mobility cooldown, stabilize. And that's exactly what you want to do from here. Because from here, you're cooking, right? You're cooking. Right. Or even what you said before, right? Like wrapping around behind. That's also good too. This is not it. Because the longer you exist at this range, the more HP and more matrix you're going to lose. And the less you're going to be doing while you're expending those resources. Because this isn't bad, but it costs you your cooldown to get to the target. When instead we want you to cost your cooldown to get to the position, hide, then go for the target and have your cooldown. Yeah, unfortunately, you're on to die, so maybe it doesn't matter all that much. And you definitely are going to be here. So, okay. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay. Again, here it's like a 2-step process. Like if they were to hold up aggressively here, what would you do?
Probably swing over to the right side.
Wrap to here. Maybe even booster in through to here. Maybe even booster all the way into here, right? Just like look to force them to chase you in here, right?
Okay, I see lamp.
Don't peek. He's wasting turret form again. Awkward timing, but yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Still gonna get value, and you are close.
I think they got the res, I'm not sure though. Yeah, they do.
To be honest with you, it's just the bad boosters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what the purpose of that was.
Because it doesn't do anything. Yeah.
It doesn't do anything, right? So just stay engaged. Like, honestly, just stay engaged in either the Bastion or the Zarya and just keep an eye on res. Then try to booster boop. Even if you don't booster boop the res, you're going to be melting the Zarya at this proximity with Nano. So, yeah. It's just bad boosters and then sloppy mechanics. That's all there is. I think that may be it for D.Va here. I don't think I played again. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to jump ahead to the other code if you have any other D.Va, or do you want to do some other character?
Can we look? I guess
because I want to go hero by hero. You know what I'm saying? So we're half. We still have 30 minutes left.
Okay. Let's go to the other code and look at some D.Va.
Okay, sounds good. So keeping an eye on like your 2-step staging process, awareness of backline, and not like all inning on your first cycle. I mean, I think that a lot of those kind of go hand in hand as well. Like if you're aware of your backline's positioning, then that's going to educate your cycle, and then, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look here. Long game.
Yeah. Oh, really bad.
D.Va swap here feels. I still feel Sigma's better in this map, to be honest with you. Even especially into their composition. However, it feels reasonable given the point we're playing on, right? Feels reasonable also versus their comp. So, yeah. I think I might actually know Bad Karma.
Oh, yeah?
Might be one of my oldest students, I think, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
that explains some things.
Oh. Might not be. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is just okay. So again, I want you to like think out loud here. So, what are the good and the bad things about what's happening right now?
Well, the Bastion's looking at me.
Yes.
So that's good. I don't
and a lot
have
more is
LOS.
about to look at you.
Yeah, I don't have LOS to my supports, so that's a bad thing. But I can always just drop to the Mega, and I think that's what I do.
Sure. Do you think this is a reasonable play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be better?
I think if I wait like a little bit, maybe it could be better.
See?
Yeah.
So I think the idea here is that if you want to set up a little bit of a distraction so that your team can rotate, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this is not a little distraction. Look at how you even use your matrix here.
Right.
You got me?
Yeah. I don't use it.
It's kind of the same thing as like the Sombra, assassination attempt on the Ana, where it's like you didn't understand that it wasn't an all-in. It was just, let's distract. My team isn't here yet, so I cannot go for an all-in. Because let's put it this way. If your Zenyatta and your soldier are hiding through here and you see them and they're pushing up and your Ana's positioned here and your Bastion's positioned there, if you just boosted it and died, you still might win the fight off of that because it causes absolute havoc, chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is now is like this level of aggression, especially with how sloppy that matrix management was, when your team is this far away, your team doesn't need this space. They're not using this space. So you're losing HP. And for this play, which is actually super reasonable, now you're not equipped to do it.
Right. Because I gotta leave now.
Now you have to leave.
Yeah.
At least you hold the high ground though.
Yeah, and I made them all leave the high ground, so I guess that.
Yeah. Now again, though, is your team equipped for this?
Maybe they did just shoot Sigma Shield, so
just turn around. You see this? So even now, I still think you need to wait 2 seconds.
Okay.
Just wait. Ready? 1, 2, now. You got me?
Yeah.
That's when it actually matters. And I also want to point out who, what, where, when should you be going? Ignore the when. But where should you be going?
Ash.
Right. But you're going to have to use your boosters to get there, right? Out in the open.
Yeah.
I actually don't think Ash is a good solution. Too far away.
Okay.
Too far away.
Do you think I should just chunk the Sigma then? Or Bastion, because he's ulting?
It's right there.
Okay. I think that's what I thought that was what I did. I could be wrong.
But you're turning his back to him. You see this?
Oh, I see.
You get me? So it's like you're prioritizing tank here. This is fine, but it costs you your boosters to get here, and now you're going to die for it.
Yep.
That makes sense? So it's like, it's just a little bit, it's still a little bit of staging here, where it's like, you hear Bastion go to your left. I mean, I am chasing this guy.
This way. Okay.
I'm going to stay on that periphery. I'm going to stay on that backline. I'm not going to sit here and play patty cake with the Sigma. No way.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Sigma's, if there was no other target, sure, but there wasn't. There was, excuse me. So, okay, let's keep going. Don't take damage, don't take damage, don't take damage, don't take damage, thank you. Again, the right play at the wrong time. I promise you were early. Yep. Just a little early. Like now is a reasonable time. And also, when you do go for this touch, wait like 2 seconds. One, turn here, turn here. Okay, work. Okay. I think now is a good time to go, right? And so then how do you do this? What are you thinking in the back of your mind? What kind of a play is this?
This is like force the objective, get them off high ground.
Right. You're not all inning here, right? You're just kind of distracting. You're forcing some resources. Probably use your micro missiles and matrix on the Bastion. Force the Zenyatta Baptiste.
Oh, but I go all in. Ooh.
Right.
I get the Zen though? No, I don't. I force trance. Yeah.
Lucky. Remarkably lucky. Sure. Right? And I think like you always have to look at things like from an objective standpoint. Like, I don't know. Because again, the problem is that for that level of so actually let's talk about this. When is this play appropriate? We talked about this earlier, right? But when would this type of play be appropriate?
If somebody's like in that back staircase.
Sure,
Like,
but
ready
you're
to
being
go.
very specific. So give me like the general
Oh.
philosophy of when is an aggressive play like this appropriate.
If I see them use cooldowns,
Okay, that's a good one.
if
Think about more fundamental. What's going to cause them to use cooldowns? When does the enemy team start to use cooldowns?
when my team pushes up,
Sure. And that's partly the problem here.
right? So my team's not.
So your
not
team
there.
hasn't really started to take any sort of space, right? So you need to help them take space by causing a distraction. But don't cash out yet because it's going to take them some time. It's going to take Grandma's got to put on her Nikes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The robot has to float around. So give them some time. Don't hard commit just yet. And then as this, like let's look for a time to hard commit here. Let's say that your Bastion doesn't die. Here it is, right? You see it? Like even this here, like your on and Zin's positioning here, is much more attractive for a hard commit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think this is just a consistent theme where you tend to be like 0 to 100, all in, booster all the way in, even though your team isn't quite positioned for it just yet.
Yeah.
It's okay to start trading, go for some resources, maybe preserve your boosters, fly back out, grab the mega, go again. But do you notice how many times have you had a cycle as D.Va,
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you gone in and out? Like once, maybe not even once, right? It's always been nothing, all the way, and then you're dead or you work, right? Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
Well, and I was gonna say like the games where I do that, like because I think in the back of my head, like I know, like I've done that before, where I can cycle and force cooldowns and leave and whatever, and like those are the times where I think if I bring it back to like my ADD, which I talked about on the forum, like it's like a dopamine thing we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Like if I have that under control, then I can like I can just force cooldowns and leave.
Here's the way to interpret it, right? So if you're dopamine chasing, remind yourself, your stupid dopamine brain, that if you go for cycles, you will be able to do more, not less. You won't maybe hit, and you'll hit the same spike that you're hitting right now, but you'll just have to wait a little bit longer before you hit the spike. But in the meantime, it's a lot of fun. You go in here, you get all the dopamine ticks from shoot the Bastion, right? Get them low, full panic, matrix, walk out, get healed, you do it again. You spend less time doing this.
Yeah.
Sitting in the spawn room, right? That's the problem here. It's not just the winning games more, but also you get to do more. It's actually a really important thing for Wrecking Ball and Winston too. Like a lot of dive tanks, right, where they have these like super high peaks, you can't cash out immediately. Like if you dive backline on your first, if you smash, slam backline as Wrecking Ball into a hard CC comp, immediately you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die. But what if you roll through, shoot, grab a health pack, roll through, shoot, slam, immediately roll away, that kind of thing, right? What booped you? Was it the whip shot?
Might have been.
That's crazy. That's all right. Now here, you're doing the defensive play, but you could go for an aggressive play. Notice that I didn't say all in. What would you do?
I could wrap up the stairs.
Drive-by shooting, right?
Yeah.
Drive-by shooting. Even fly right through them and go right back to card again, right? You notice that?
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not saying it's like all about being passive. You could be very proactive. Just don't use everything, right? Even here, this should not be a hard commit. What should you do right now?
Leave.
Matrix and drop, right? Matrix and drop. Yeah. You've done your job. Matrix and drop. Force the resources. Get healed up. Go for it again. Because your spike is gone. Your matrix is on a limited resource. Your missiles are a cooldown. That's your spike. You don't have that spike anymore? Don't stay.
Oh, well, now I have to.
And now you have to, right? Now you have to. You're just thankful that you're on a nanoju, And the thing is even, you're like, oh, it worked out. Well, it would have worked out a lot better if you dropped 3, 2, 1 and done it again, and this time you'd had nano. You would have killed You would have killed them 10 times faster and had much less of a risk.
Yeah.
It's not about like, oh, I got away with it this time. You didn't though. You didn't. You still it still was a lot harder than it needed to be. Like, okay. No. Look at where you know where your team is. This is not going to work. Very fortunate.
Yeah.
And now the funny thing is you accidentally survive it, but then now that your team's actually like here, this is actually the all in that's happening right now is a lot more likely to work. But your team is like basically having to deadlift you out of the grave on that first cycle. And then you're like, oh, now I can go in again and kill everybody. But your team is like, sweating just to keep you alive. You know?
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. You're doing something right, Like we're being a little negative here, but you're doing a lot of things right. Like I think that your general idea of how you're playing the character is fine. Your cooldown management has been for the most part has been pretty good, right? You see, even here, you got to know when you've done your job. Know where my team is. Know we're also down 1. Bam. He's not dying. Let it go.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have dropped for him, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. But just a little bit. I guess if nothing else, even if this wasn't an error, it's a good reminder that
Yeah, don't pick the hog.
Well, even if you have the all-in forced upon you, let's put it that way. If you get hooked into an all-in that early, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Scary. Kind of unfortunate. I honestly just feel like a little bit more respect to the window was owed.
Oh, okay.
So like here, I think you stay on high ground. I think you matrix. You get hacked. Crap. Deal with the Sombra, and certainly disengage here faster. Definitely, I want some matrix on this back window as you're disengaging. You're just like, oh, I'm just gonna matrix the hog, but the back window is like currently torching you, as is the Sombra from high, right? So
yeah,
it's just a little bit of disrespect to the enemy spam, to be honest with you. Now, you can all in here on anything that you want. Sombra. All right. Okay. Do you want to keep going with D.Va, or do you want to call it there?
I think I've got enough to go on.
Okay, so let's take note of those things. What you need to practice.
Managing my dopamine level. Make sure that I can get a few cycles in for some things, and timing.
Hard force your all in immediately when a soft pressure then booster cycle out is appropriate. And that starts with awareness of your team's positioning. All ends much better when your team is committed. And by committed, you know what I mean. It's not necessarily pushed up, just that they have really good sightlines, right? Remember, the answer with when is a Widowmaker committed? When she has a sightline on you. And that's why this was so egregious, is because your on-ends were over here. They weren't over here. They were over here, right? So they just couldn't see anything. Okay. I think that's mostly it. All right. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. What do we got now? Zarya? Ryan?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Same map, or do you want to go back?
I think it's on the icon fold. I don't do any Ryan or Zarya here.
Okay. All right. Zarya got a decent amount of Zarya, so let's so again here, I do think that Sigma would be better here, even versus the pharmacy on this map. I think the Sigma would feel better. Because I look at your comp and I don't really see anything to bubble besides yourself, which is not a bad thing if the map is okay with it, but I do think that's where like Zarya's niche really shines. I don't think Zarya is a bad choice here at all. If you want to play Zarya, this is totally fine.
Yeah, I think I just feel like I will whiff like every shot on the fair if I try to hit her.
Right, but remember, that's not really your job if you're playing Sigma. Your job is to shut down the junk, shut down the Ana, pray that your team deals with the pharmacy, and they generally.
Yeah.
Okay. Earn your bubbles. You ever heard me talk about that?
Oh yeah.
All right. Earn your bubbles. This late of a bubble, even just for Junkrat spam, which is like probably one of the few circumstances where you don't need to earn the bubble, you can just walk in front and take some damage. But that's only appropriate when?
When my team is in a position to help.
Yes and no. Because remember, when we talk about earning bubbles, we're talking about you fighting with the bubble, right?
Right. Like if it's early enough to
where pre-fight. Pre-fight, right? So if you see a bunch of Junkrat spamming, you just step in front of it pre-fight, you'll have time to get your bubbles back so that you can earn the mid-fight, but you'll be 30-34 charge, right? This, not only, obviously, is it unfortunate that you don't end up running into any spam, which sucks, but also this is way too late in the pre-fight phase for you to be bubbling this. Thankfully, Satoshi is just as stupid as you are, and we're good to go. But remember, you need to be better than he is. You need to be better. So, okay. Would be nice to bubble this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or even just have a bubble for you to push forward, so.
Yeah.
I think this bubble was earned, though. Target priority is fine. You can't really reach anything else with the bubbles that you have. Yeah, that bubble was earned. Probably would have died without it. My favorite part is you're like, oh, I'm going to whiff every shot as Sigma and Zarya, and then Sigma and Farah, and then you're just like tracking the Farah. Yeah. I mean, it does the job, I guess. Good bubble. Maybe a little premature, but it's fine. It definitely felt earned, right? Doesn't need to be perfect. You see how crucial that bubble is to actually push it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Huge, huge, huge. Okay, nice job. I would ego this more, personally. Just a little more. Like, considering that you know that they're a couple down, I would be all the way here, and I would be launching bubbles, or launching right clicks at their spawn door, and I'd be looking for spam to get a little bit extra charge.
I think something that I do that is probably a bad thing, but maybe you can talk about it, is when I have high charge, I'm like, I don't want to die. I play like way safer than maybe I should. Like maybe I have the right to be more aggressive here, but I'm thinking like if I feed, then it's really bad, you know?
Yes, but it's a risk versus reward.
Right.
When you play with reasonable aggression at 0 charge, you're going to be able to do reasonable damage with reasonable risk. When you play at 100 charge, you will have a risk of losing that charge, but if you're not using it, what's the point? Now, what I'm not asking you to do is I'm not asking you to play more aggressive because you have 100 charge. You notice that?
Right.
I don't want you to play more aggressive. Play normally. Just play normally. Play as you normally would. Don't change your behavior just because you're high charge. Get value out of that charge. Build more ult and so on. Now, I wouldn't want to peek now.
Right.
But yeah, I also think that second bubble probably too risky, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Is this they're now starting to peak? You've got your 100 charge, that's good. They're starting to take space. Probably would save that second bubble if I were you. Because you see what that surgeon just did?
Yep.
Right? They are reading that cooldown. And now there's your last bubble. Was it earned? Was it not? It's kind of close. But oh my days. Imagine if you had another bubble right now.
Yeah.
You could get in there, right? And actually use that 100 charge.
I think I do anyway.
Nice right click. Very easy to sleep you here, to be honest with you. Very easy to sleep you. So you're a little bit fortunate. Okay, peak main. Another reason why you need to be careful with bubbles. Nice. Small detail with mechanics here. I always like to do this with Zarya's. Your highest DPS is open with right click, beam, finish with right click, right? Because you have the instant animation of your 25 animo used. And then right here, when you turn this corner, right click should already be like basically on the way out. Aim it, splash into beam. Because think about it this way, your right click would already have landed at this point in time and you would be beaming right now. You see this? And that would have done more than 55 damage. Or at least it would have done appropriately about that, as well as being AoE. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So open with a right click because it's instant, and close with right click because it's free ammo or free charge.
I always think about closing with right click, but I didn't think about opening. That's a good idea.
The only problem with opening with right click is sometimes you don't know if it's appropriate, but you know turning this corner there's going to be somebody there. So you can already be ready to launch the right click into the beam. And obviously closing with the right click, as you saw there, is tricky. Takes a lot of practice. Like even here, like because your bubbles, right? Again, I don't want to open with the right click here, but I'm also scared to peek this. Oh, this is so scary. Oh, that's so scary. Again, you notice how many times you could have opened with the right click here?
Yeah.
Like especially because you know exactly where she's at. So you turn this corner here, right click, bam, beam, right click. She's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one other little D.Va-like example where if you're gonna do this, you better darn well get the kill because
I'm all in.
you're all in. You see this? You see your team's positioning? Who has the better angle to do damage on you? The Sojourn, the Hanzo, or your backline, your Bastion, your Soldier, your Ionic, your Kiriko? You see this? Like, which team is in a better position to support each other? Red or blue?
Gotta be red.
It's gotta be red, right? So I'm not saying that this is silly. It's a very risky play. But if you think you can do it, I believe in you too. Just do it.
Right.
You know? If you want to take a high risk, high reward play, go for it. But you better darn well make it work. You need a little bit more confidence so that you can actually get the kill. Because this is, to say the least.
Sometimes miracles happen.
And sometimes miracles happen. It's Christmas time after all, so close enough anyway. Gonna sleep you. Oh, she was thinking about it. Yeah. I was like, she had it right. Like my spidey sense is going off, but no, she just didn't get it in time. This is all fine. Let me look here again. Yeah, totally fine. You'll have it back in time. Don't sweat it. A little bit riskier there, right?
Yeah.
But not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Gotta trust your guy. You gotta trust your guy. You gotta trust your guy. You gotta trust him not to peek that, because this is a major problem now. Because you need 2 bubbles right now. You can literally single-handedly win this team fight if you have 2 bubbles. You can see the hesitation because you don't have that 2 bubble, and obviously a little bit of mechanics here as well. But that one hurts. Okay. Any questions so far? I'm kind of cruising here.
No, I think. Yeah, I always thought that I had more bubble discipline than I guess I have.
Here's what I would say. Here's what I would say is like your bubble, like when you are pushing your bubble discipline, like it makes sense, right? But I think you're too much of a team player before the fight starts. Let's put it that way. You need to trust them not to peek.
Okay.
Your bubble discipline isn't bad. It's just because even like this, right? You're pushing, right? You're pushing a Genji. You're earning the bubble, right? But you're full HP and it's a Genji.
Yeah.
Right? Surely this isn't necessary, right? And then even here, right? Oh, I'm earning the bubble, right? Yeah, but you're by yourself. So now you're down 2 bubbles. You're 31 charge. And even if you wanted to push, you would not be able to. That was a little better, but I still don't think necessary. You need to be very attentive to your HP. Look at their comp. What bursts you down in their comp? Bastion.
Yeah.
You got me? So I think you're kind of like autopiloting because every single time you've peaked this earlier, you got one shot because Junkrat and such, right?
Right.
But this, no. And that's balanced by the fact that it's going to take you a lot more time to kill the Genji than it will be the Junkrat, right? But the Genji does a lot less damage to you. So that's how this game is balanced. So, you know, that bubble was not earned. Let's put it that way. That bubble was certainly earned, but at which point your opportunity is gone and the pressure is missed out. Okay. And I don't want you to feel like your Zarya is bad. Your Zarya is fine. You know, it's just, it could always use improvement.
Yeah. I definitely haven't spent as much time on it. It's
yeah.
But I think I've played against it so many times that I kind of know.
Like, yeah, it's one of those characters. Okay, so this is what makes Zarya hard. I think a lot of characters like this, but I think that Zarya is a great one. Where it's like the decision making with bubbles is really tricky. But the mechanical aspect of Zarya, I think, is underrated. I think the difference between somebody like, you ever seen like A10 play Zarya?
Oh yeah.
It's like poetry, right? It's beautiful to watch. Or Hanbin plays Zarya, right? It just feels so effortless and flows perfectly. Like I watched him in the AL Grand Finals, right? I think they were playing. Who were they playing? Was it Houston? And they lost the map on Lijiang, but it was just beautiful. Everything was perfect. The right click and the beam management and the bubble. It was just beautiful to watch, right? And so it's like it's underrated how difficult it is to do that, right? So it's okay if you're like in this situation like right now. I gotta earn my bubble, and like, you know, you're like not opening with the right click because you forgot to or whatever. That happens.
Yeah.
See, I would even say here.
Think about.
Yeah. See, I would even say here, like I think maybe you're a little bit concerned about your backline. But I'm not even so certain that this is a good bubble either.
Okay.
Because you know what you can do to avoid getting shot by Bastion?
Not peek.
Not peek. Trust your teammates not to peek this if you have seen them not engaged. And then you have double bubble push.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you fighting him at his peak? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who gives a rip? Now he's weak. That's what you need to be pushing, but you can't because you used 2 bubbles because you wanted to peek the Bastion. Right?
Right.
Like right now is when you need a bubble. Or whether it's for Cassidy or whatever else, right? Okay.
We got it though.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I mean,
May.
you got it. I mean, hey, listen. I mean, you're doing lots of good things. Like you're doing lots of good things. I think your bubble management has not been terrible. Your positioning has also not been terrible. You're not like demanding like 24/7 healing pocket, right? There's lots of things that you're doing fine. Your mechanics are competitive, risky given how close they are. Risky given how close they are. So you can't assume that every single time you're going to get a poke bubble opportunity because you won't. Right now, this Zarya is like, yep.
Yeah.
Right? So then now you need double bubble for what?
Bastion,
right? Now you actually kind of need to hold this guy because they're walking into your team. Like you need to kind of keep this backline honest, and now you're down a bubble to do so. So now you're like, well, crap, I have to back up. You could have held your space here if you'd had double bubble. Good. Why is this bad? Which team?
Yeah. Red.
Right? Mm-hmm. So this is the line. If they touch this corner or this corner, you hit them in the mouth. This guy? Unless he's 1 HP? No. So now you've used a bubble. Now you've used 2 bubbles. Really only one of those felt earned.
Yeah.
I would also be very curious to see here what's happening over there. It's all grouped up over here. Assuming that somebody was over there. Opening with right click again, I will point that one out. Opportunity. Especially when I see this. Like, okay, so let me slow it down for you. You know, you see all these like clumps. Oh, you see it?
Yeah.
That's like 3 people hit with that right click right there into the beam on the Sojourn. Or whatever, or the BAP, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, get your tank mindset out of the way.
APS.
What should you do?
Probably.
What have you seen?
I see Bastion flanking.
Yeah, take it. I see this. I'm like, you know what? Y'all just hide from Zarya. I'm getting this guy.
Yeah.
It's a better target for you, right? So you're like peeling back here, and then you're walking into Bastion, and then the Bastion flank actually ends up killing him. That's something that you could have helped with, right? You can't really stop the Zarya from killing your Ana as easily. At that point, you're in a better position to trade than to peel.
Yeah. That was kind of like frantic overtime brain.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm not going to give you that hard of a time about it because that's when like stuff gets messy. Okay, so sorry, what needs to be improved?
The right click opening.
Right click opening. Kill time. I wouldn't even say DPS because technically you're going to spend more time reloading with the right click opening because you're using 25 ammo at the opener. But if you're trying to kill a target, trying to maximize, then that's going to help. What else?
Doing better about bubbles. They're like pre-fight bubbles, rather. So like, make sure I do it earlier enough so that I can get them back when the fight starts.
Awareness of your backline's positioning. So you know the length of your leash.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of the way to look at it, right? Like you can always break the leash. Like, you know, sometimes it's appropriate to break the leash, to chase down and kill the honor. You know, so you see somebody one and you're like, you know what, I'm breaking the line, I'm gonna get the kill. Go for it. Totally fine to break the rules. But you got to know that it's a rule so that you know when you're allowed to break it.
Hmm.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I think I'm good.